Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's your everyday nurse Abby. So we are continuing with our series on the brain and its relation to mental disorders. In our previous discussion, we got to know about the nervous system, its parts, and their various functions. In today's discussion, we are going to talk more about the central nervous system, considering the parts which is the spinal cord and the brain. So please, you can visit the other video so that you know about the nervous system because we talked about the central nervous system under that. So today we are going to consider the spinal cord and the brain, the division of the brain. So we'll start with the spinal cord. So the spinal cord is a long bundle of nerves and cells that extends from the lower portion of the brain to the lower back of the body. So I'll take that one again. The spinal cord is a long bundle of nerves and cells that extends from the lower portion of the brain to the lower back of the body. And its main function is to carry signals between the brain and the rest of the body. So the spinal cord serves as a channel or a medium through which the brain communicates or interacts with the body. The brain cannot communicate directly with the body, so the spinal cord serves as that medium, that channel where communication can take place between the body and the brain. So, in our discussion, that is what we want to know about the spinal cord. Yes, because this is what will help us in our discussion. So now we are going to talk about the brain. So the brain is a complex organ that controls every processes that regulates the body. I'll repeat that again. It's the brain is a complex organ that controls every processes that regulates our body. So it controls our thoughts and emotions. It controls our memories, that is our long and short-term memories. It also controls our senses, that is our sense of sight, that is seeing, our sense of touch, our sense of hearing and the other senses. It also controls our motor skills. That is our movements, our coordinations, every actions that we engage in. It is the brain that controls that. So the brain is divided into various parts which help in carrying out these processes or functions. There are many approaches that people use in explaining the brain or in discussing about the brain. But in our approach, we are going to use the three basic parts of the brain or the three basic division of the brain. This will help us in our discussion. This is how I want the discussion to go so that we would better understand it. So the three basic parts are the forebrain, the midbrain, and the hindbrain. So I'll take that again. The brain is divided into three basic parts. The first one is the forebrain, which I would say is the front part of the brain. And then the midbrain, like the name suggests, the middle part of the brain. And then the hindbrain is the back side of the brain. So we'll first of all talk about the forebrain. So the forebrain is the first division of the brain, and it is the largest and most obvious part of the human brain, and it is responsible for receiving and processing sensory information. Sensory information being it a sense of sight, that's seeing, a sense of hearing, a sense of touch, and all those senses. So it is the forebrain that receives and processes these sensory information. The forebrain also produces and understands language. It helps us in it controls the production and understanding of language. It also helps us in controlling our motor functioning. That is our movement, our coordination. It is the forebrain that helps us with that. It also helps us with thinking, our thoughts, and then our perception. So there are many things that the forebrain helps in controlling, but we'll talk about only this. Yes, please. And the forebrain is divided into two parts. It's divided into two parts. The first one is the cerebrum, and then the second part is the diencephalon. So these are the two main divisions of the forebrain. This is where we will end our discussion for today. We wouldn't want to bombard ourselves with a lot of information. We want to understand everything step by step so that by the end of this series, you'll be able to identify certain parts of your brain, know about its functions, and then you can also associate it with certain mental conditions. So I will just sum up what we've discussed and then we can move on to the other series. So we talked about the central nervous system, which has two parts, that is the brain and then the spinal cord. And the spinal cord serving as a medium through which the brain communicates with the body. And the brain, we got to know, is a complex organ that controls every processes that regulates our body, being it our thinking, our emotions, our senses, our motor skills, our temperature, our hunger test. All those things are controlled by the brain. And we got to know that the brain has three basic parts, and these parts is the forebrain, which is the front part of the brain, the midbrain, which is the middle part of the brain, and the hindbrain, which is the back side of the brain. We got to know that the forebrain is the largest and most obvious part of the brain, and it also controls certain processes that is helping us with producing and understanding languages, coordination, our thinking, and also our sensory information, helping in regulating all those things. And we also got to know that it is divided into two parts, that is the cerebrum and then the diencephalon. Thank you very much for your attention. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to like and share. Thank you. Meet you in the next series.